going on, everybody? We're working on my GS300, and the issue that I've been trying to solve is my car, whenever I'm at 60 or 70 miles per hour, the steering feels loose, or not loose, but it should feel tighter, and it does not feel tight. And I didn't know, but apparently these Lexus have something called progressive power steering, and I didn't know about that. I actually just found out about that yesterday. So my plan today was to put this on jack stands. I bought these really cool semi-truck jack stands because my idea was to put this in the air, put it on all four jack stands, because I'm probably gonna tear that car down like to the bare frame, and I might get rid of the shell, and I'm just gonna keep all the parts that I want to keep for my other Lexus, or I still don't know. The main idea here is I need to get the steering fixed on this Lexus. So because I just found out about this progressive power steering that they have, I stopped, and I'm not gonna remove the steering rack yet because I have right here another solenoid. So this is the power steering pump, and apparently this is the solenoid that controls the speed, but I honestly don't think that this one is gonna be good, but I want to make sure, right? So because it's not that easy to get it removed. Like, this one's super easy to get it removed, but just to swap it on this one, and the connector in that one is broken. So because the connector is broken, I don't want to cut the connector and then have none of them working. I want to make sure that one of the solenoids doesn't work, so I need a multimeter. I have a multimeter, but the multimeter that I bought from Harbor Freight is trash, or that's what I think right now, because I tested that solenoid and I cannot get any reading. And I tried to test another solenoid valve that I have on that Lexus. I didn't get any reading, and I know that that solenoid valve works for sure. So I'm gonna go grab another multimeter first, and after that we're gonna start working on either of them. This is the most recent upgrade. We got some racks, we got all our supplies, got tools, and yeah, I'm thinking buying an IS300. I'm gonna buy an IS300 maybe. Alright, let's go to Harbor Freight. I also just found out that my check engine light is actually like totally not working. I have catalytic converter codes, evap codes, a transponder key code, and yeah, the check engine light is just not working at all. Why? I have no idea. Alright, so we've been working on the GS pretty much all morning. We have been doing some tests, and I got the front spindles, steering knuckle, and I got the steering rack also out. So I need the steering knuckles for the wheel bearings, because I want to replace the wheel bearings, and they are pressed wheel bearings. So I got both steering knuckles off of this Lexus, and then I also removed the steering rack. So since I bought this car, which was a year ago, I've had this issue with the car that at high speed the steering does not feel tight. Like, whenever I pass 60 miles per hour, the steering wheel feels like if it gets loose when it's supposed to get stiffer at higher speed. So I always thought that the issue was the steering rack, because I had new tie rods, and I didn't know that it had, I mean, it's not electronic power steering, so I didn't think that it was assisted. But it turns out that there's a solenoid that controls the pressure for the power steering, and whenever you're at high speed, that solenoid gets activated and it reduces the pressure from the pump into the rack so that the steering gets tighter at high speeds. And I think that my solenoid is bad, so I removed the steering rack because that's what I thought that I needed to remove. But then googling some stuff yesterday, I find out that Lexus have something called progressive power steering, and they have this control module that is sitting right in here. It's fairly easy to get to. It's just a 10 millimeter in the connector, and this is the module that controls the power steering solenoid. So I've been doing a lot of tests, and I remove a lot of stuff for no reason. The power steering pump from that Lexus, I already have it out, and I just removed the power steering pump from this Lexus. I'm gonna show you why, because I don't know why it's kind of testing fine when the truth is that it's not fine, if you know what I mean. So I got my multimeter here, and if we put it to read this, you see 8.6 ohms. So that solenoid is working. That is the pump that was on that GS. Now let's see what this one reads. It's reading 8.8, 9.1. It's reading the correct amount of ohms. According to all data, it should be between 6 and 11 ohms. And both of them are around 8-9 ohms, right? So both solenoids should be working. But then I grabbed the power probe to actually test each solenoid. So now I'm putting the power probe and I applying power into the solenoid, right? If I go to this one, it clicks. If I go to this one, which is the one that was in the Lexus that I drive, no matter if I apply power directly into the solenoid is not being activated at all. So I don't understand. Can someone explain me here why the ohm reading is fine but the solenoid is not working? Isn't the solenoid supposed to be working if the ohms reading is fine? So anyways, early in the morning, that's what I very first started doing. I went to pick up the power probe to Harbor Freight so that I could do this. I tested both, and both of them tested fine. So because both of them tested fine, I'm like, damn. So that's why I got the steering rack off. So I'm like, if the solenoid is working, then it's gonna be the steering rack. That's my only other thought. But once I removed the rack, it was actually quite a bitch to do it. So that's why I stopped, because I'm kind of running out of time with the day, like to remove that steering rack and put that steering rack in there. So I stopped for a second and I'm like, I'm gonna try to apply power to it. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. And before I even remove the pump from the car, I tried to apply power to it right here and I didn't hear it click. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna remove it. And in my mind, I knew that it was electrical. Fuck this noise. Alright, so the power steering pump is in. This is a very easy power steering pump to do. Like if you need to do a power steering pump on one of these two JCs, you got a 14mm for the belt, 14mm down here that you don't even have to remove, you just have to loosen it. You have two 14mm through the pump, banjo, don't forget the gasket, return line, and your connector down there for the solenoid. And the pump comes right there. You don't even have to do the coolant line, nothing like that. So really simple. All right, we're gonna put some power steering fluid. We're gonna drive it, and feeling very positive that it's gonna be fixed. So let's get it. All right, so it's the same day, a little bit later. I already test drove the car, and effectively the issue is solved. So I didn't know that this old Lexus had progressive power steering, but now I know. The solenoid that goes into the power steering pump, it's supposed to close and reduce the flow of the power steering fluid into the rack. That way when you're going at a high speed, you don't have a lot of movement on the steering wheel, right? Like your steering is tighter. And the solenoid was not clicking. So every time the car would get to 60 or 70 miles per hour, that solenoid would not activate and it would not make the steering harder. So it would stay soft all the time. So the car would feel a little sketchy at high speeds. Like I was able to cruise 60, 70, even 80. Now it should be driving no issues at all. So this is gonna be the actual test drive right now. We're about to see how it feels. So like right here at 60, the steering would feel super loose. And if I do this before, it would go like crazy. Alright, it's feeling really good, so I'm gonna drive around, see how it goes.